Good morning and welcome to my channel PawfectPastimes. My name's Amanda. I live in Dorset in the southwest of England with my husband and my 3 dogs. They're all just back from their walk, so they're all quiet somewhere, I hope. I have a general podcast today with a few finishes, a few whips, a couple of purchases and a little bit of sewing at the end, and then a life catch up at the very end. I will start with what I'm wearing, and I'm wearing the Galanta by Carol Feller, done in Ardtha Glamaig. It's the one with a little bit of detail on the corners, as it were. I have spoken about it in other podcasts. It's a bit chilly outside and I've got to go somewhere in a minute, and I thought it would be a comfortable wear. I feel a little bit wonky actually. There we go, that's a bit better. You'll have to excuse my extreme brain fog this week. I will explain everything at the end. I had a few shocks this week. Anyway, I'll save that for the end. First of all, a finish, and this is my absolutely gorgeous Rachel Shawl, which is by Twinset and Pearl, and the yarn is Nellie and Eve, Wild Meadow. I'll leave the details below. I liked the fact that you knit it this way, and at first I was a little bit shall I bother with the change of stitch in this plain garter bit, but actually now I've done it, you can see it adds a lovely gentle texture. I'm glad I carried on with it, but it was silly of me to doubt a designer of yarn things. It is very, very long. It blocked out beautifully. You can see the little, they call them hearts. I think they look like lovely leaves down the side. The yarn is beautiful. It did bloom a little. When I was making it, the Blue Face Leicester softened as it was going through my hands anyway. So that will be a nice addition to my winter shawl collection. It is big enough to wear as across the shoulders. And just tie in the front. It's a nice size shawl. It's not swamping, and it's not one of the triangular ones that has a lot of extra fabric made perhaps where you don't need it. This comes most of the way down my back. In fact, it's all the way down my back and a good way around the front. So I really recommend this. Again, it's the Rachel Shawl, which was released for the Southern Wool show. No, it wasn't. Unravel in Farnham with Hellen of Nellie and Eve and her yarn. And they've just brought out a sock pattern to go with Helen's new tread yarn, which is for socks, obviously. I'm sure you can use it for other things. Beautiful colour combinations. Hellen does all natural plant dyeing, and the yarn comes from within 25 miles of where she lives. She has sheep in the field right outside her window, so her own little flock she cares for somebody. So I hope you like seeing that. And all I had, this was 2 skeins, and that's all I had left. So that was a great use of 2 skeins of yarn. Jo is very clever at calculating that. I had another finish. This time it is the Christmas tree socks, or the pine tree socks. Can you see the little trees going up the leg there? And these are by Sandra Parson. I had the pattern when I bought a giftable from Rosie's Moments, and there's the other one. I do have a pair. This giftable was jam-packed. I'll insert a picture, and it was quite an exciting one. That isn't all of the little trinkets I got inside of it. A couple of the stitch markers I'm already using somewhere else. So yeah, I finished these about 2 weeks ago, and it was a nice pattern. It was a nice pattern. My brain's just not in the right place for lacy things like that at the moment. So I'm pleased to get those off the needles. I want to make some shorties, and I try and cast on several things. I know some people out there have 10, 20, 30 things on the go. I panic if I have more than 3 or 4 things on the go. I start thinking, right, if I do that, I'll finish that and I can put that away. And my brain just works strangely like that. So another thing I did manage to finish was my granddaughter's little cardigan. It's got a very simple lace all around the bottom and 2 panels each side of the button band. I did it a slightly shorter length for her because it's to go over jumpsuits and trousers, jeans, that sort of thing. It is supposed to have another channel of lace up the sleeve, but I didn't worry about that. It has blocked very nicely. It's going to be a little on the large size for her at the moment. I think I did this in the larger size. The pattern is James C. Brett 662. I do speak about it in another podcast. A very nice little thing. I did the larger size for her. She's 11 and she's coming into summer, so she'll have a growth spurt. It's for summer days, cool summer days, and take her through to the winter. I use Stonewash, James C. Brett Stonewash, and this colour is the brown grey mix SW20. A lovely, soft, gentle, and her jumpsuits are olive, black, creamy, khaki colour, and all those colours are in here. I chose the buttons to go with the brown tones. They're from my local yarn shop and they are recycled macadamia nut, I believe. So I guess they're a byproduct of the nut industry, but they're very pretty. They've been carved into little swirls like flowers. Don't know if you can see that. So I'm very pleased to have 3 great finishes on off my needles. You may have spotted behind me my salty days. Oh, I've got an itchy nose, excuse me. I have I've done 99% of this. I'm just coming into the diamond panel on the end of this sleeve. I've got to do that sleeve. If you remember when I did the blue one in the merino, I did the neckline quite early on because garments hang from the neckline, in my mind anyway, especially when they're top down. It's part of the structure. When you're doing top down, there's no seams, and seams are part of the structure that holds the garment in shape. And seeing as we don't have seams in top down, you've got to do a nice piece of work at the top for it to hang down. It's like jeans were designed to hang from a belt, hence they have belt loops. If you don't wear jeans with a belt, they hang a bit strange. I don't wear a belt very often, but that's what they were designed to do. But I haven't done the neck on this one yet. On the first one I did it quite soon, and it really does squint. It really does cinch in, that's the word I'm after, the neckline quite a bit, because it's done on 3mm needles. I did the welt on here in 3.5. This yarn is Yarn Smith's Pebble Haze Aran. Yarn Smith's is Wool Warehouse, and this colour is Ruby, shade 2L086. And it's Yarn Smith's Pebble Haze Aran. I don't know why I've stopped. I think it's just my mind is everywhere else at the moment, and I wanted to do other things. If I pulled my finger out, this could be done in a couple of evenings. It's only the 2 sleeves and the neckline left to do. And it would be a lovely thing to wear on a cooler summer day, but we haven't had cooler summer days this year so far. There has been a cool air, but I'm looking across very parched fields, farmers pulling their hairs out. We've not had rain properly since March, I don't think, down here. Anyway, that's by the by. I will see if I can find a little brain space and try and get this finished. It would be lovely to have another thing off the needles. I've had those 3. This is virtually there, and I need to do it really, don't I? I really do. In the meantime, just checking my notes, sorry. In the meantime, I finished Olivia's sweater, little jumper, cardigan even. I apologise. And I cast on with great glee my Spector by Occulocatelli. And I am doing mine in the Urban Pearl yarns. I think I showed them quite in depth in the last podcast in her lovely merino singles, which are 100% superwash merino, in Quantum, Urbanite, Docklands, and I know the other one's Concrete. I think I'm using Concrete now. There's the Urban Pearl band. And I have done the neck, the first buds, and I am on the patterning at the top. Now, I'm not a yarn dyer. I've dyed yarn, I've dyed fabrics, all part of my City and Guilds. I've done all of that. But I'm not a yarn dyer. I assume yarn dyers buy in the blanks of yarn they want to dye. I assume, you lot can probably tell me otherwise, I assume you can go to many different places to buy your yarns, your blanks, your merinos, your yak, your cashmeres, your silks, whatever. I also assume, and I know this bit, the way you treat the yarn before, during and after the dyeing process all add up to different types of feels of yarn. We all go to yarn shows, we all go and see all these walls and walls and walls of yarn in skeins and skeins and skeins, and we all know they feel a bit different each time. You would have thought if everybody had one skein, or there was one available skein of merino, just dyeing it a different colour, you'd just be buying the different colours. But it seems that the combination of where they buy their yarn blanks from, the way they treat their yarns and their colour combinations makes for what we love in a yarn dyer. And I can't tell you how wonderful this merino feels. It is so plump. It's a 4-ply. It is so buttery smooth to knit with. And I don't know what Layla's done to it, but it is lovely. I've done loads of knitting with socks, commercial and yarn dyed, but this is probably up there with one of the nicest I've knit with. So I couldn't wait to get that started. I'm managing to do 2 or 3 rounds in an evening at the moment when brain capacity allows. So that is my Spector underway. I wasn't planning on doing it quite so early, but once I got Olivia's cardigan off, I thought, oh, I'm going to. I want to wear that Spector. And I am pleased I have. I'm hoping I've got enough yarn for it. I'm going to use the fuller skein before the colour changes. And I don't know if it's doing the sleeves at the same time or what, but if I run out, I will get another yarn ball of the Urbanite, which is the dark brown. This one. Look at those colours. I love the nuances you get in a handmade yarn. You can't beat it, can you? Anyway, so I've done that. I also found a bag with a finished sock in. Well, finished bar about 3 or 4 rounds of the cuff and casting off. I can take that now, I'll leave that there. And I've made these little shorties. Sorry, my socks never fit the sock blockers. That's because I've got big feet. I'm a size 8. These are large blockers, but they're still not right. And this yarn is Cozy Toes, I think. I can't find the label now. It's a commercial striper. If I find the yarn, I'll put the name down here. Anyway, what I wanted to try and do was a toe up. I'm not averse to toe ups. I like toe ups, but a toe up with a heel flap and gusset, which is probably another reason why it's sitting strange, because this was done from here. Normally we come down, we do the heel flap, gusset. This is from Nancy Wheeler's Wintery Woods Socks. I haven't done the Wintery Woods pattern bit. I'll put a link in the description box below. But Nancy Wheeler has a formula for you to work out how to do a backwards heel flap and gusset. And I wanted to try that. So I dug out this Funny Feets, I think it was called, Funny Feets commercial yarn. And I started from the toe, worked along, did my calculations, needed a bit of help, but there we go. And I've made a little shorty for my white socks, my white trainers. I have just cast on the second one. This now sits in my handbag. Again, I'll tell you at the end why. So I'm hoping to get those finished. There's nothing to them really, is there? An ankle sock. I need some more shorties. I've got the lovely little rollover with the pom-pom on the end. The pom-pom or the fat lip around the back of the heel stops it going down into your shoe too easily. I need some more of those because the ones I've got are wearing thin. I've got a bag somewhere with some yarn ready for them. So I'm going to get on with that one. It shouldn't take too long, especially under current circumstances, and get that off the needles, and then I can start the next lot. The next thing I managed to start, well, I've got to put that pattern in with that sock or I'll lose that. I have a couple of blankets, crochet blankets underway, as you know. I've got the canal boat and I've got the Soulful Sierra underway. I'm not finding them coming to the fore in the head at the moment, so they're sitting on the side. I wanted to get on with them. I'm not too worried about them. Blankets are lovely winter projects anyway. Nice to have a blanket on your knee when you're making. But I wanted a little bit of crochet. I'm not even sure if I've been doing this right, but I found the Moonlit Shawl by Sandra of Cherry Heart. Again, I'll insert a picture. And I've lost the label. No, I haven't. I found it. I picked out a random skein of yarn. This is a commercial Knit Pro Symphony Terra, and I think this is Riverbank. Yes, Riverbank. 75 superwash merino, 25 polyamide, 100 grams, 380 meters. There's only 380 meters. I think the Moonlit Shawl takes 410. So I looked at there's 2 rows of pretty edge, and then there's the really, really pretty edge. So I was going to do 1 row of the pretty edge and then the really, really pretty edge. It's coming out lovely. I've only done that much. I'm using a 3.5mm crochet hook. That was one of the stitch markers in my Rosie's Moments. I'm not sure it's coming out right, but I'm going to carry on. Again, it's a bit like the Rachel Shawl. It's a long, thin one, but it's not massive like the Rachel Shawl. It's only going to be 1 ball of yarn, whereas that one was 2. So those colours are so lovely. I love a rich, dark colour. I don't do pastels. Unfortunately, my ball winder baffed a bit, so I've got the clips to keep it open. I'm centre pulling, but those bits keep interfering, so I've got them pulled to the side. An errant fringe. So that's underway as well. Yeah, pencil, pattern, yarn and hook in a little sock bag that I made some time ago, ready for a grab bag. I'm doing quite well, aren't I? Let me look through my notes. I think that's everything I've done yarny over the past couple of weeks. I have been putting a couple of posts in the community posts, which is along my bar there. If you look at the end, it says posts with the owl, the palm owl. I'm going to go into stitchy stuff now. That's as far as I've got with his tummy. If you're wanting to follow him, go to the community posts. If you have the like and subscribe buttons on, the subscribe bell, if you have it onto all, then it will let you know when I put posts in there. It's a lot easier than because it's quite little bits of achievements now and then. It's easy to put pictures in on the community post so you can keep up if you're interested. Trying to explain such fine detail on here is a bit more difficult. A purchase I bought recently is, hello Gwynny. A purchase I bought recently, I follow a lovely lady called Louise Nichols. She has a YouTube channel. I will link her below. Please go and give her a look. She lives in Cornwall and she's a textile artist who does her lino prints fabric, stitches into them and makes wall hangings, quilts and all that sort of stuff. Lovely lady, and I'd appreciate if you go and give her a look. And it's been a while since I've done much in the way of textile-y things myself, but I decided to buy one of her kits, and this is the one I bought. She has a very interesting way of selling her wares. She will sell on some of her products anyway. She will sell just the panel. You can frou-frou it up as much as you like or as little as you like. She will sell you the kit with all the bits of felt, the yarns, the threads and everything in it. And she has quite a lovely variety of very countrified rural kits. I will insert now my unboxing of the kit that I received. Hello, I've just come in from golf to a rather exciting parcel and I thought I'd save the unboxing for you. I follow a lady called Louise Nichols and she has a YouTube channel called Textiles and Life, and she's down in Cornwall and she does these beautiful little kits of she does several varieties of kits. You can buy just printed. She prints from lino print. She makes her own lino prints them onto fabric, and you can buy them just as fabric or as a full kit. And I fancied this as a full kit. So apologies for any rustling. And this is the kit I bought. I like the fact that it's on a little piece of driftwood. I have boxes of driftwood, so I'm sure I can find something to fit that on. And all this lovely string doing it all up. And let's see how we get in these boxes. Which way up is it going to be? That way. So inside my lovely kit is everything I'm going to need to use. All the fabric, all the threads, all the extras, the bits of felt. Sorry, the dogs are getting excited because their dad's going upstairs. Interfacing, threads. Oh, it's exciting. I like doing these myself, but I do like having a kit as a treat sometimes. So I've got fuser web, the lino print of the bees, some felt, and this is the piece that I'm actually going to be embellishing. What a gorgeous lino print. How lovely is that? That's a nice size too. It's probably a little over A4, more of a square B size I think, but nice size. I can measure it actually. There we go. 8 by 9 the actual print, so that will make a nice size little hanging. I have the little hanging frame in my door, so I thought I might do that for this. Wadding, threads, plenty of instructions, and that's what it should look like when it's finished. Sorry, the neighbours started to mow the lawn. Oh, I'm very, very excited. Sometimes it's nice to have a little gift like this, isn't it? So I will be doing bits of that. I will show you my progress in on my channel. Oh, it's so lovely. Thank you, Louise. It's so lovely. So if you want the details again, if you go onto our Etsy store, yes, if you go onto our Etsy store, there's lots of little kits on there, all varying price points. So like I said, you can buy just the printed fabric and embellish it yourself, or you can buy the whole kit like I have as a nice treat. Oh, it's so exciting. Go and give her channel a look. It's Textiles and Life. I'll link everything below. And now I've shown you my unboxing, I can get on with it. Oh, lovely, 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 lovely. As you see, the kit came with everything I could ask for. And this is how far I've stitched so far. The felt's on, stitching's beginning, and as you know, I do complex gold work, stump work, and this is so wonderfully mind clearing. I am loving every single stitch of doing this. And it's just what I need at the moment. I've taken it out into the garden a few times and just sat and stitched. It's lovely. I do like my bees. I've got quite a few cross stitch with bees to do. So, and I've also got a huge box of driftwood. I know that's a branch twig, but I've got driftwood I can certainly do that with quite easily. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I will hopefully find some more time to do it very soon. It's just such a nice clearing project to do. I hope you go over and have a look and see what she has there, and enjoy what her wares are. She's down in Cornwall, so if you're on that area, she may do a show or two, I don't know, but well worth trying to find. Another purchase I had is as yet unopened. Yes, you are right. That is the C word in May. It is from Spin and Leather. It is their Advent striping sock yarn. I said to this year I'm not doing an Advent. I've got two upstairs that I haven't touched. I've got one that I made into a jumper, the sweater for Blue Fern Yarns, and I've got a couple more patterns that I'd like to do, but for fades they'd have to be specific Advents. At the moment I've got plenty to do and enough on my plate, but I'd like to do something over Christmas, betwixtmas, or catching up. So this is the Advent striping sock yarn from Spin and Leather. I did have an open, but they're all packaged inside and it's a bit crinkly, so I've left it in the actual bag. That will go in my Christmas surprise box, and I'm looking forward to that. The other purchase is a silly one. I very, very, very rarely buy magazines. I've subscribed to them all over the years. Back in the day when my kids were very tiny babies, I used to even design cross stitch for a couple of the magazines. But this was a Crochet Now. I saw in the supermarket and I bought it simply because it's got Snoopy and it's got a Snoopy dog. Peanuts, Snoopy. 75 years old he is. And these are pins to help you put together your amigurumi. But I might just have them in a plant pot because I adore Snoopy. And I just couldn't resist. I'm not sure I'll make anything else for it from the magazine, but I will be making him. Absolutely will be making him. And I think I've brought you up with everything. There are a couple of new channels that I've picked up on lately, little channels that you could go and have a look if you wish. One is Teresa at Crafting a Life at number 19. Louise Textiles and Life, which I mentioned, she does the lino printing that I'm stitching. So Textiles and Life, I will put her below as well. And Whitby Guernsey Knits, Alana. Just a couple of the smaller channels, if you'd like to go and give them a look and a bit of love would be nice. I'm all for promoting the smaller channels. We all do the big ones. So let's help a few of the little ones, if we can. I'm just going to check the notes again. Right, okay, I've caught everything up on my notes. I've got a blackbird on the roof. I have had a weird few years. We all had COVID. The COVID years were over and done with. I know a lot of people were affected badly by it. Some have long COVID. I've had COVID 3 times. I luckily got away with it okay. So the COVID period, there's this thing of pre and post COVID, isn't there now? September 21, John had his cardiac arrest. A scary time. I brought him back and we had a lot of hospital times, bringing him back to the new normal for him. In May 2022, he had a nosebleed while I was out. Unfortunately, it wasn't a nosebleed in here, it was a nosebleed in the sinuses, and he was on blood thinners for his heart attack. I came back to an absolute bloodbath massacre in the kitchen. I took him to our local little tiny village hospital, and all they could do was give us some ice packs, which were not great because that's not where the bleed was coming from, and a few sick bowls, and told us to get down to the ear, nose and throat department at Poole. I got him there. I got him into A&E, which was busy, went and parked the car, came back, and just as we went into the triage room, he went grey. They couldn't find a pulse and anything. They got him upstairs on a gurney and he went to hemorrhagic shock. He'd lost so much blood, he had not enough fluids in his body to keep going. So I was there holding his face together, and there was 3 nurses pushing in 2-litre packs of ringers, which is a electrolyte solution, just to give his body fluids a chance. So that was the second time I lost John. In the October of 2022, I lost my son. 2023, I spend a lot of the time grieving and trying to come to terms with the shocks of the past 2 years. Also, in that 18 months, I'd lost 3 dogs. 2024, I had to have knee operations, and I wouldn't say I came out of my grief, I just sort of bobbed to the surface a little. In 2025, I decided was going to be the year I was going to come back again. I started my channel in the 2024 and I was enjoying myself. You're all here. I love you all to bits. Thank you very much for being here. So 2025 was going to be the year of me getting back on to life, getting back out. I have booked my calendar full of golf competitions. I have got 2 holidays booked within the next month or so. And I am definitely going to move forward in 2025. One of the things that happened last year was that I had bad tingling feet, my bones ached and my eyes were dry and I really felt bad. And my doctor kept saying, just take some paracetamol, as it were. Then he retired and I got a new doctor and she decided to do a full blood count on me. The full blood count came back as I was vitamin D deficient. So I went on a 6-week course of high level dosage vitamin D. I started to feel great again and I've been great ever since. Last month my legs have started aching and tingling feet again. You can buy a vitamin D tester kit over the counter. It's a bit like a COVID. It's a little white thing that you put droppers in with a carrying solution. And again, like COVID, you get the line, the control line, and the line where your result is. I had the very faintest line telling me I was going to be vitamin D deficient again. So I phoned up my doctors and I said, I think it's coming back. I think I'm losing my vitamin D. And they said, okay, well, we'll do you another full blood test. I went in on the full blood test on the Monday last week. On Tuesday, the results came in. On Tuesday evening, I had the doctor phone up, said, oh, we need you to come in for some more tests. Nothing urgent. We need you to just come in for more tests. Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock, I had a phone call from a nurse at Bournemouth Hospital. Can you come in? I suppose I could try. No, you need to come in. Okay. 15 minutes later, I had a phone call from the consultant registrar. Can you get in now? Okay, so we literally dropped everything on Wednesday morning, got down to Bournemouth, and I got in to see the phlebotomist, had more blood tests, specialists, and what they say I have now is chronic myeloid leukemia. So since Wednesday, I have been taking chemofab tablets, hence the brain fog, on top of the menopausal brain fog. We have been backwards and forwards to the hospital so many times, it's unbelievable. I am covered in bruises from blood tests, the tourniquets they put on your arms. I've had a bone marrow biopsy. I'm off in a minute to go and see the registrar to okay my next course of chemo. It's been a lot to come to terms with, but I always, since Chris left us, looking for positives. And a positive take from this is that CML isn't curable. I have it forever, but it's livable. And they can bring it down to a level where there's a small possibility I could come off tablets. But I could always be on a low dose of tablets. It doesn't have to escalate. It's not the acute version. It's the chronic myeloid leukemia. It's something I can live with. something we can live with. There'll be adjustments. While I'm on this hitting it hard phase, my hair may go thin. I'm very susceptible to infection. I bruise very easily. I have the brain cell of an amoebic slug, and it's a lot to absorb. Each time I sit down in front of the consultant, I just stare at them and try and absorb everything. I have a lovely team, Sarah and Vicky, my specialist nurses, who are at the end of the line. They're lovely people. If I think, well, what did Wendy, my consultant, say about doing this or about doing that? We were there all day yesterday. We are going there today. I'm there again on Tuesday, and I'm there again on Wednesday. My chemo is in tablet form, thankfully. I don't have to sit in a room and have it pumped through my body, so that's a small blessing. It's a cancer I can live with. It's a small blessing. It's a chronic version, not an acute version. It's a small blessing. I'm going to take it. The only downside is I can sit and do my knitting for about 10 minutes and realise I've not done anything. But I'm getting there. It's a journey I'm going to be on for a little while. Well, personally for the rest of my life. But this initial stage, I'll do you little updates. If you know someone with leukemia or have leukemia, I am with you. I am one of you warriors now. Dark orange is our colour. I like dark orange. I don't do bright orange, I don't do daily orange, but I cast this as a rust dark orange. I'm fine with that. I can cope with that. I have great friends with me. I have my wonderful, wonderful John with me, and I can do this. We can do this. This is fine. I am grateful each time life has thrown me a really, really, really shitty curveball. Losing John twice, losing my son, losing 3 dogs, and now this. I have my creativity has been there, and it's backed me up always, and it just allows me that brain space, and I'm just grateful. So I'm going to try and podcast regularly as I can. I meant to podcast last week, but you can understand things went a bit screwy. I'd like to do it a bit more often if I can. At the moment, it's just chaos. I've had to rearrange my entire New Me 2025 schedule, and it's been difficult, especially with this amoebic brain cell. On that note, I will love you and leave you. I wish you all well. I hope you're all creative and in happy places. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Stay safe, stay creative. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.